Hello and welcome everyone to the second semi-final of the Division 2 between Tejn Esport and Valhalla Warriors. This time it will be a duocast. I'm Kachka and with me tonight is Nightstar.
Hello, it's finally a cast that you don't have to listen to me the entire time.
Yeah, not that it's a bad thing, but it's pretty hard to do it alone. However, enough talking about us. We've got some pretty exciting matchup because Tejn, they finished at the top of the Division 2 and Valhalla, they won their quarterfinal in a pretty decisive manner just 2 days ago. So those two will clash for the last spot in the final.
Yeah, Valhalla Warriors coming out with a big 2-0. It still is going to be almost a David Goliath matchup here. We had the matchup yesterday with Hydra and Oracle. I would say that was a little bit more so because it was a 2 versus 6 seed, but against the undefeated monsters of Tejn, that's never an easy task.
It definitely isn't, and I feel like something worth mentioning is that Tejn in Division 2 last split was actually a bit less competitive than what it is now. They went for the perfect sweep, and even though it will not be easy this time, they are definitely looking to put themselves in the final to challenge for the back-to-back Division 2 wins.
Yeah, and if you're Tejn Esport, you've got so much to play for. You're riding that last split high, and you want to defend your champion once again. And there's only 2 teams left to compete for that title. That is rightfully yours, and if they do so, it's certainly something to say going forward.
And it will be on Valhalla Warriors to stop them. Quite simply put it as that, Valhalla will be trying to put themselves in the finals against Hydra, which actually will be played tomorrow. And there is a lot on the line. Of course, the semifinals are best of 3. So every single game, it is just so much worth.
Yeah, every game is going to be on a knife's edge. And there's so much value from just taking a 1-0 because all of a sudden you're at match and series point. Whereas, if you're in a best of 5, you still have a little bit of that wiggle room. You can try things in game number 1, but if you're talking about game number 1s here, it has to be alright. This is we're trying something new, but we have the full intention of not just scoping things out, but to win. It has to also work.
Alright, so we are going to jump into the picks and bans. Tejn will be sitting on the blue side, Valhalla Warriors on the red side. The first ban is that Nunu targeted, I believe, against Miklu, one of his most played champions, and Vladimir is the response, and Yumi as well taken off.
Yeah, so just some particular champions. Minklu, we know, is more of that supportive jungler, so taking away the Nunu. If they want to try and take away an Ivern, that is also a possibility. We've seen the early pathing from Minklu. When it comes to more aggressive junglers like the Rek'Sai and the Jarvan, really kind of falls apart. The pathing is okay, but when it comes to transitioning from pathing into ganking, that's when it really falls apart.
And I kind of like the bans from Tejn with the Yumi Sona. Both these champions were actually played in the Valhalla's quarter-final match, and they did pretty damn well in this bot lane. Of course, Yumi can be picked with pretty much anything, and Sona is mostly for that Sona Taric bot lane. So with that, Tejn could be looking for some more aggressive pickup. They do go for the Sejuani in the first pick though.
Yeah, and I guess it kind of stays consistent with the last couple of series that I've casted here on the stream, with the Sejuani being the high priority pick, just because even against some of the early game junglers, such as the Rek'Sai, such as the Jarvan, it just stands up so well in some of these smaller skirmishes, because you typically are drafting some of these bruisers, melee bruisers, up in the top lane and sometimes even in the mid lane, which just allows you to skirmish so incredibly well.
And Camille being a pick for Valhalla, I could assume it can go in the mid lane because we have seen Smoothie play it in their quarter-final match, and he did do pretty well on the champion. So we're gonna see where Valhalla exactly want to put it, as now AD carries also have been locked in. It will be Sivir against Kai'Sa, and Pyke will be paired up for Tejn.
Yeah, and we've got already it initially looks like the bot lane here, but if there is some sort of oppressive top laner or mid laner picked up here, I can fully expect to see the Pyke going into that lane, and Galio does get locked in.
Right, so what Valhalla Warriors have already, they've got a lot of pick just with the two ultimates of Camille and Galio. I want to see if they want to commit into that sort of hit and run skirmish comp, and what champions will they ban, whereas Tejn, I feel like they've got more flexibility, at least with the 3 picks they went for. And Jarvan going to be removed, as now Tejn, they are looking to hit the jungle pool, and Valhalla probably trying to remove some of the solo laners.
Yeah, so Valhalla will be indeed looking for those solo lane picks, but mostly the big power play here from Tejn will be continuing to focus Miklu, and if they continue to take maybe trying to think of a second jungler that might be even more punishing. You could take away the Rek'Sai, of course, but I just don't know if Miklu's Rek'Sai is really up to par, and I think Tejn have realized it as well, and they're gonna go ahead and ban the Ivern.
Makes sense, because if it was locked in, then the Khan Sivir would have so much peel, it would be near impossible to even get him through in the back line, now Poppy being covered. For Valhalla Warriors, it would be a good pick for that strong front line, trying to deny some of the engages with the steadfast presence, and it is what they go for in the end.
Yeah, and the Poppy being locked in, this could possibly be that jungler that Miklu is looking for. But if it ends up not being the case, we're looking at a composition that is heavily AD focused. You have the Camille, you have the Sivir and the Poppy, the Galio, unless if it's flexed to the mid lane, which I kind of don't really expect. It's a very pigeon-holed composition being drafted by Valhalla Warriors, and over on the side of Tejn, they also themselves have a little bit of a AD composition going themselves, but you know, they have the Kai'Sa already, which provides a little bit of magic damage, and if they lock in this Singe, that's a source of magic damage as well.
Alright, Tejn, they go for a very interesting type of comp, where I mean, I'm just looking at that and I see you're just trying to be annoying and trying to be ahead at the same time. And Valhalla Warriors, they are looking to respond with a Fiora for themselves. So what do we really make of the Tejn composition? I want to maybe talk about that first.
So the Tejn composition here, the last pick Singe, you typically don't see Singe being blind picked, right? Because it's a punish pick directed towards tanks, and I think with the Singe pick, they were expecting to deny that that tank pick coming out from Valhalla Warriors. I assume they thought Poppy, hey, they locked in the Poppy early, it must be going top, and Singed into Poppy is very, very good. However, Singed into Fiora is just free farm for Fiora all day. You're going to be trying to push back past the tower, and Fiora will let you do that. She'll take the farm at the tower for the first couple of so minutes until she hits that 15-18 minute breakpoint, and then that's when she turns it on. But I like what Tejn have done. They've swapped the Singed into the mid lane. Aatrox does so much better into that carry matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Koink will be playing the Singed. What I'm thinking Tejn could even go for is they could be just swapping those two around and seeing how Valhalla will respond. Because there's nothing saying that Koink can't go bot lane, and D3174 on Aatrox will be coming into mid. So definitely a lot of options. As we of course have entered the spectator delay, looking at the other side, Valhalla, they will have a very, very potent 1-3-1 comp with the double split pushers Galio ultimate to join the side lane. I think that might be what they want to go for in this game one.
Yeah, for the side of Valhalla Warriors, we're looking more of the map play. It's all around playing around the Fiora, Camille, because even when these champions do hit 2 or 3 items, they're not in a position where they can look to try and be that big team fight impact. They're mostly on the outskirts trying to clean up on the sides, but if you just full on commit to these side lanes, then you're starting to cook with gas, right? Because the Poppy moves very quickly to the side lanes. The Galio, of course, with his ultimate can also do so. And the Sivir, the big crux of the composition, if you are playing 1-3-1, you have that insane whiff clear in the Sivir City mid lane.
And there won't really be any sort of siege from Tejn. Their whole composition is about trying to dive the individual targets, correct me if I'm wrong here, and try and burst them down one by one, because the Sejuani for the frontline engage, Pyke will try to dive the backline, Aatrox also most likely coming in from a flank looking for this backline access, and Coin will just
run them down.
Yes, he will run down into the entire team and hopefully survive from that, and even Hecatos with that killer instinct. So the siege maybe isn't really there for Tejn, and that's why they will need to get themselves ahead if they want to deal with that serious wave clear, because if they find themselves behind, then that 1-3-1 is going to choke them out this game.
Yeah, but they do have the tools, again, you mentioned it. They have a lot of initiation from the Sejuani, the Pyke, the Aatrox, the Singe. They're going to be very mobile. They're going to be able to try and look for these skirmishes. Whether or not it's in the mid lane or it's in one of these side lanes, that's a question that's to be answered in time. But you know, there are so many tools. You have the CC for this Kaisa to absolutely pop off here. So in these compositions, even though they're very different compositions, both of these are actually, the crux of the composition really enables both of these AD carries. One side, we have the Sivir that's just going to be farming away at the mid lane. The other one is an AD carry not looking to farm, but to get champion kills. And with all the CC on the team, it looks to be a very exciting matchup.
It definitely does, as we are on our way to load into this game 1 of the best of 3 semi-final. The spot in the finals against Hydra tomorrow is on the line, and both these teams, they definitely want to, you know, fight for the championship of Division 2. Of course, Tejn are technically the defending champions, though. I mean, you cannot take anything away from them. The point I'm trying to make is that they won in a Division 2 where some of the Division 4 teams were playing. It's before we had the 4 divisions. Now this is a much more competitive split, so if Tejn actually managed to defend their title, that's even so much more impressive.
Yeah,
we're gonna see if they can do that.
Yeah, and not to mention that they did go undefeated during the regular season, so, you know, they've already proved themselves once in best of 3 format against every single one of these teams, and that's going to be a big impact for them.
Definitely. Well, just taking a quick look at the runes that have been picked up as we are loading in the game. Something interesting is that Coin actually went for Aftershock on Singed. You would sometimes see people go for the Predator, but Aftershock, I guess, if you want to make sure you survive, will be pretty good, as we are going into the Rift, and Tejn are doing Tejn things with a top side 5-man invade.
Yeah, they're looking for the invade here, 5-man. We'll see if they catch anyone out. Ooh, Rixie.
Good touch over the wall, and he will be able to escape. The rest of Tejn are now looking if they can sneak in any vision or maybe catch out any of the members, but we already see counter invade coming through from Valhalla Warriors to gain some vision on the bot side.
Yeah, and for the side of Tejn, they're a 5-man group, not necessarily the easiest way to get a pick here, as it is heavily reliant onto that Pyke hook, which is why you see that Rixie was able to just get out just fine, and they are able to respond in kind with their own vision laid out here.
Right, and it does look like Coin will be sticking around in the mid lane. It is a Singed versus Camille mid lane matchup, not something we see often. So talk us through it. How does it really work, and what could we be expecting? Are we expecting any action? Is it going to be a farm fest, or what are really the objectives for both of the mid laners?
Yeah, the Siege mid lane is very interesting because it's a much shorter lane, right? You see the Singe typically going in the top lane, you see him proxying, but you just can't do that in the mid lane as well, right? The moment you walk past the tier 1 tower, all of a sudden you're already at the tier 2 tower, so you're going to be running into some of those issues, and really it's all about they want this matchup because it dodges out onto the Fiora, and once they get that Singe to a good break point, that's when you'll start seeing the Singe really start moving into a side lane as soon as possible.
Alright, early game, we could maybe also be seeing roams into the bot side if Coin has some free time in the mid lane, since that Poison Trail will definitely clear out the waves faster than Smoothie can at least pre-tactical sweep. And so eyes on the mid lane, especially now that Meklu is looking to make the first gank of the semi-final. Koink, he still has got the flash, he's trying to escape, has hit the level 6, and the Mega Adhesive has been flipped back. He tries to go in for the flip, and now dunking the ball lane, he's stunned up, and the first blood is actually going to be picked up by Knutseren in the ball lane, as Koink is as well going to drop 1-for-1 across the map.
Yeah, but the first blood comes in just a little bit sooner for the side of Tejn, and I'm going to be very happy with that. Even though it does come in onto the Sejuani, it's still going to pay off just a little bit more. But in that mid lane, Smoothie's going to be very happy. Getting that kill for himself means that he has that extra little bit of damage, that extra gold to really snowball this mid lane through. Because Smoothie, while the Singe is just looking to farm up so he can go into a sideline, Smoothie's just looking to get kills because, ooh, nice little hook there. We'll see if it turns into anything.
Yeah, this is just Elbow getting knocked down, pretty low on his HP. Galio pretty good at denying those engages, but I do have to say that the Bone Skewer is on point. He's looking for another one. This someone to dunk is Galio. He does lose a bit of that, a bit of his health. You do have to watch out for that Pike and the playmaking potential of this support.
Yeah, the Pike, a really big nuisance into that bot lane, and a lot of kill threat coming out from both of these supports. Donkey on the Galio, if he's in range, he's going to be able to really punish them with that taunt and the Justice Punch. But in response, Elbow, you can just bypass the Galio completely and go straight for that Sivers. A lot of trading going on in the top lane, and so far it seems like Delta is having a rough one on the Aatrox.
Ah, it said Delta. I just realized.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we did cast it once before, I believe. But yeah, we were saying D3, and then eventually we got corrected by the chat. But
yeah, Delta is gonna get ganked. Good flash over that wall, but Meklu, he now already got 2 flashes burned by 2 of his ganks, one of them even netting him a kill. That's a very active Poppy early game in the jungle, and doing already a bit of work in the solo lanes.
yeah, doing good work here. Ooh, Rixie.
He's gonna have to be burning the flash Delta, looking if he can get some Darkin Blades in, but Rixie is just going to go around the Tribush, pop down a control ward in the meantime. And the top players, they are getting low, they are hungry for some trades, but they aren't really able to find them just yet.
Yeah, and both of these champions are at level 5, so they're gonna all bring in their recalls here, and once they get that recall in, they're just probably going to go straight at it once again because they'll be level 6. Ooh.
In the mid lane, Smoothie this time, he's getting ganked over here. Comes Miklu with the heroic charge, knocks Coin back. Good steadfast presence to deny Knutseren the dash with the Arctic Soul, and Smoothie hook shots over the wall. He's going to get out to safety.
Yeah, and that Arctic Assault's just not aware of the steadfast presence from Miklu there. And Miklu doing a fantastic job so far in this early game. We know that the ganking isn't necessarily, or ganking transitioning between ganking and farming isn't exactly a strong point, but he can do good things when he's just focused on one or the other.
He definitely can. And we are 6.5 minutes in. There is a slight goal lead in favor of Tejn. And if you look at the CS advantages, there is one building up for Hectus in bot lane. Coing also marginally ahead. Now it has been, of course, equalized since he is in base and Smoothie can just farm. And Rixie also doing pretty well in the top lane. But now Delta looking to jump in onto him. Of course, Fiora, with your lunge, you can escape most of the trades that Aatrox will try to throw in on you.
Yeah, and the big thing to keep note of as we see a small trade in that mid lane is the fact that Rixie, he wins for the call for his starting item, which means that he just doesn't have the battle stats. Ooh.
Oh, Coin now going into a bit late. Smoothie throws now the Haystack ultimate and the poison not going to finish him off. Smoothie with the adaptive defenses and the Triumph going to survive and get the kill.
Yeah, and a huge outplay, or is it really an outplay? I expect that he saw the timing on his passive ready to go, and he just went for that trade. And oh, getting that knockup could have been a little bit of an opening for Delta, but he doesn't take that opening.
No, he does not. And now we've got 2-0-0 on Smoothie's Camille. This guy could be getting out of hand. And Camille, once she gets ahead, she's not only a threat in the side lane, she can just go straight up and kill you wherever you are. And Valhalla Warriors looking to make a statement in game 1. Overall, though, they are still behind as a team, so it would need to transition into a bigger scale of snowball.
Yeah, and one of the big issues when you're up against the Camille in the solo lane is once she gets that lead, because of how low of a cooldown the hookshot is, she can just continuously trade against you non-stop. And with the adaptive shields, she's able to just block out a lot of that damage, especially since you are in that 1v1. It will be
hold
extra
on, Miklu getting the stun into the wall. Smoothie following it up with a hookshot. Coing already has burned his flash. That's a good glacial prison. Seren coming in to turn it around. And the teleport is going to be challenged as Smoothie and Miklu still very much in the vicinity. Delta coming in with the wall and Seren picking up the first kill. Miklu now running for the hills underneath the turret. Coing, he was looking for some re-engage, but it is time coming up with a kill.
Yeah, and a beautiful teleport coming in from Delta just to try and dissuade that action. And Coing, he might be a little bit too greedy here. Miklu wants a
flash
piece of action.
In. He doesn't get the pin in against the wall, and now he's flying back in to the poison trail. Coing with an auto attack finishes it off. And this is Tejn getting that early game lead back from Valhalla.
Yeah, and not only was that a failed attempt on cashing in on that kill in the mid lane, that was also the Poppy Flash, which is such a huge tool in trying to find these ganks over on the side lanes, being able to get that instant pin onto the wall. And now you're going to be running into issues.
Yeah, Seren, he's stuck in the jungle. That's a shutdown going over to Rixie. And you see the two solo laners working together, picking off the enemy jungler and getting themselves some gold.
Yeah, and that was just way too aggressive coming in from that Sejuani, going in for that play, but no time to talk.
Hectos, he has to pop down the killer instinct. That is so much damage! Elbow just finishes off Cannon. Now Danke is going to use the flash over the wall anytime soon. He does do it, and now Delta in the top lane is going to be the recipient of a gank from Miklu already on 100 HP. And this is the kill going over to the Poppy.
Yeah, and what we didn't get to see was the teleport coming in from Coing into that bot lane to support that play down in the bot side. And it was just a beautiful turnaround coming in from Elabel. You know, I mentioned the fact that if Donkey decides to go in, well, Pyke doesn't really care. Pyke just says, oh, okay, you're going in onto my AD carry. Well, I've got double your damage. And I can also just go on to your AD carry. Let's see who actually wins. And in this case, it's also the fact that if Elabel does go in, that gives an out to Hekatos as well. So he can just bypass the Galio himself.
And now he's picked up that mana immune at about 11 minutes, something that you do see so much on Kai'Sa. Judging by how much mana he has, it actually was sitting in his inventory for a while, I just haven't picked up on it yet. And this Kai'Sa Hekatos, he's well on his way to hitting his 2-item power spike and becoming a terror in the mid game.
Yeah, and ooh, a gank in the mid lane.
Smoothie already has used the hook shot. He doesn't have the flash. Glacial Prism locks him in place. Fling from Coin still available, and he's using it to get the kill. Onto Smoothie, well executed gank from Tejn in mid lane. However, now Delta, Grand Challenge has been issued in onto him. Vix is looking to get those vitals, and with the lunge, he's getting the solo kill in onto Delta.
Yeah, the solo kill coming through in the top lane is going to be huge just because of the fact that Rixie just continuing to assert his dominance in that top lane. At this point in time, I'm looking at Tejn and wondering, when do they start rotating some of these pieces around? Does Cohen get that next plate? No, he does not. But with how strong that bot lane is, how strong the mid lane is, and relatively speaking, and then how weak your top lane is, maybe it's time to swap out some of these roles. Maybe you swap the dual lane up in the top side, or maybe you just start moving, swapping your solo laners, just trying to get a better matchup. Either way, you need to get this Aatrox out of that.
Because Vixie is just going to keep bullying. Already picked up the Ravenous Hydra. Herald as well now summoned in the top lane. Valhalla, they are putting all of their eggs in there. Shut the Aatrox down basket, and they're going to pick up the first turret with the use of Herald. Elabel looking for a gank into the mid lane as Tejn are looking to respawn. That turret will most likely drop as we speak, and at least Tejn are equalizing in the objectives.
Yeah, they're able to get the objective locked in, and actually I kind of wonder if anyone got the money from that tower, but if Miklu wasn't in range of that tower. Yeah, actually no one got the money from that first turret going down. That's 600 gold just gone to waste.
Not something you want to see if you are Valhalla, even though you are, it's not a big deficit, it is still 1000, and that Sage, as the Twitch chat keeps talking, is going to be a problem. Already has got to realize there are 4 melee champions and a Sivir. Coin is just going to be able to keep most of them at a safe distance.
Yeah, Coing's going to be quite disruptive this game, and this is a good opportunity just to try and take stock of where we are in the game. As far as, itemizations and gold is concerned, we have that 1.5k gold lead for the side of Tejn, and we'll see how. Yeah, Smoothie is still going to be okay in the 1v1 because of that adaptive shield, and because he does have the hookshot just to try and trade out against him. Ooh, he just wants more.
Coin flings back Smoothie. Here comes the hero's entrance. You cannot dodge this knockup away. Coin instead going to burn the flash. That's a good Glacial Prison. But hookshot from Smoothie. Sidestepped by Coin. He's still surviving until now. Shutdown finally is picked. And now Elbel could be in a lot of trouble. Hectus has joined the fray. However, he's 1 versus 5. The killer instinct is not going to get him to safety. And Rixie goes on a killing spree. Ooh. The keeper's verdict is to get the hell out of their delta, as Valhalla get themselves 2 quick picks in the mid lane.
Yeah, and a great fight coming out from the Valhalla Warriors. That was all generated from the fact that they just were there to the fight earlier. You saw Miklu make his way to the mid lane, but at the same time, you saw Donkey in the back pocket for Smoothie right there, and Khan also slowly making his way over. And all those combined with the fact that Tejn, they themselves were just behind on the ball, meant that it was just such an easy cleanup for the side of Valhalla Warriors.
And Valhalla have managed to close the gold gap. At the very least, the gold stands even as we speak, and we are still pretty much in the laning phase, at least in the terms of assignment. The bot laners are going down in the bot lane, And you said it. We are really starting to going to expect some of the swaps around the map. Let those teams get something going. Now Danke could get picked off as Coin is coming down in from the mid lane. Good flash away from the Bone Skewer. This is going to be the Galio without the flash.
Yeah, good flash coming out, making sure that he doesn't get picked. Definitely would have been that bottom tower if that was the case. And we have to look at some of the differences in the money that I didn't get to quite touch on it. The biggest difference, of course, is that top lane. You have Rixie up 40 CS and also 3 kills. He's got a 3k gold lead in that top side. This is why I kept highlighting they have to get that Aatrox out of there, just because this gold difference is not something that you can outplay in a 1v1 scenario. And they have some gold leads elsewhere for the side of Tejn, but the key member on the side of Valhalla Warriors, this Fiora, absolutely unstoppable right now. And if you're looking at the highest gold value on the side of Tejn, it's the Sejuani. You're not going to put the Sejuani in a 1v1 against the Fiora.
You definitely are not now Delta. He could be getting ganked. I'm sorry, correction. He is getting ganked. Rixie is on a rampage. Miklu is just... That's a disgusting playstyle, but it's working.
Yeah, it's a
that's a good Bone Skewer. Danke brought back over that bowling wall. He is pretty tanky though. Killer Instinct forward from Hecatos, and alright, I said nothing. He just bursts with that second skin passive.
Yeah, and whenever you get that fourth proc on to the Kaisa target, that's a lot of damage. And now Miklu in trouble here.
And Rixie, he's joining the fray. That's a level 30 Fiora. Fiora usually not a big team fighter, but he could be doing a lot. Smoothie is under the attack. He kills Alabel, and that is a 1-for-1 trade as he's going to drop down Hector's. Miklu still on the run. Delta not quite connecting. Flash forward. Glacial Prison locks down the Poppy Coin. Has gotten the kill. Chasing onto Rixie is going to get called off as the tier 1 in bowling still stands, and you probably do not want to dive that.
Yeah, and a good response coming out from Tejn. The chase just was a little bit too much there, and they did overstay a little bit onto that mid lane, trying to punish with that tower damage. So nice plays coming out from both of these teams as far as punishes go. Both teams are quite even as far as the playmaking, and that's what we want to see in a highlights semi-final matchup to go to the finals.
And you can already see pretty much all of those players are eager to step up. Rixie 4-0-2 on the Fiora. He's going to be the main carry in the side lane. Miklu, he's just been making sure that Rixie can't be this far ahead. And Smoothie also doing pretty well in the mid lane. But then on Tejn, Hecatos, Coin, and Knudsen, all three have been picking up the kills, initiating the fights, and as we speak, the gold is pretty much dead on even. Only a 500 lead at 20 minutes for Tejn means pretty much nothing.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty good as far as Tejn goes, just because of how much you are losing out in that top lane 1v1, and just how well that Miklu has been doing in these ganks. And you'll be very happy in keeping things even, and now it's all about, can you pick off?
Oh, that's a pick in onto the Hecatos. He's stuck in the wall. The hero's entrance shut down, picked up by Can. And this is the pick that Valhalla wanted to get. Now, can they get out without a re-engage from Tejn? The answer is yes. And Hecatos loses both his summoners and his life.
Yeah, Hecatos getting... dying there is a very nice little bounty there. I believe they were able to cash in onto a shutdown, but now here comes a collapse.
Danke throws down the shield of Jivan. Smoothie going in over the wall with that hookshot. Teleport is going to be channeled, and Glacial Prison has been thrown down already. Knudsen locked up in the Hextech ultimatum with Can getting the kill. The jungler for Tejn is down for 30 seconds, but I'm not sure Valhalla are going to go for the Baron.
Yeah, and for the side of Valhalla Warriors, they have that guaranteed, oh, we just want to get that first reset onto the Fiora. Well, we can just ult him a few times, get him with the Hextech Ultimatum, get him with the Gallia's Hero Entrance, and we for sure get that healing field guaranteed.
A lot of back and forth in the melee. Fling back onto Smoothie. He's flashing on the wall. However, Coin, he continues to chase. Hector's flank in with that clearance. Then Coin already picking up the first kill. Duncan getting a double tone. And another heroic charge into the wall. Hecatus is down again. Elebel having to flash away. And Delta stuck without escape. That's Valhalla Warriors turning another fight in their favor. Double kill for the Miklu. And this squad is looking at a 2,000 gold lead at 21 minutes.
Yeah, and not only that, that was a undermanned fight because they threw Rixie back into the top lane, and Rixie, he just does so much damage. He almost had the Triforce completed at that time, and now he's going to be able to go back and finish it. But the damage coming out from that Sheen onto those towers is nothing to scoff at, and he was laying down the deeps onto that tower.
And you've got the double Trinity Force on Rixie and Smoothie available for Valhalla. There is just so much single target damage if you pick anyone off. You've got double items on Can, and if anyone from Tejn even oversteps, their health is going to get cut down like grass. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a metaphor here, but I'm really
like
bad.
Butter.
Yeah, I'm trying to go for something original, okay?
Mowed like grass. Alright. Ooh, Elebel almost caught out there. We'll get the Aftershock proc. But now we're looking... Okay.
Well, talking about getting cut out, Miklu continues on the chase. He's going to pick up the kill, going in on the rampage. Coin now in the middle lane. Narrowly avoids it. Oh, here comes Hecatus. Oh, he's already going to take one. And Coin picks up the second as a shutdown onto Can.
Rixie.
And Tejn, they get 2 for 1. This is such a back and forth in this game. Tejn could be looking for more, but they decide to drop the chase. Knutseren still has got the Glacial Prison. Anyone oversteps, and Tejn will pull the trigger. Instead, they're going on the Baron. That's another pin against the wall onto the Hectors. Look at the chase. You see that Kaiser just cannot get out, and Rixie is unstoppable. Heroes entrance from Duncan buying even more time. Double kill in for top lane of Valhalla. However, Delta has reset that world ender with the kill in onto Duncan. That's a triple kill for Rixie. He's looking for the Quadra. However, Delta, he picks up a shadow himself. Now that's a 1-1 between those top players. That's a level 15 though. Fury against level 12 Aatrox. That ain't fair. And Rixie will be looking for those kills. Elebel has joined the fray. Final Magneto secures this stun and the shutdown with the death from below. Tejn managed to turn it around in the end, and now they are looking for the Drake.
What a turn of events! That was a lot of money being exchanged, and in the end it ends up being a very even trade as there's more action.
There is more action, Valhalla. They are not giving up this objective, and I feel like they should be able to secure it unless Delta can jump over the wall. Well, he's trying, but it is a dragon secure. He doesn't have the flash. He might have to trade his life, and it is indeed a shutdown going over into Can's pocket.
Yeah, and that's a little bit unfortunate there, not gonna lie. As he went for the steal, didn't get the steal, and pays for it with his life. But of course, you gotta look at it from the standpoint of Tejn. You're at 2 dragons. That would have been the third. If you have 3 dragons to 0, that Elder Dragon's looking mighty tasty as well.
Elebel caught up in the CC chain. He's got the Phantom Undertow to dash over the wall, and this is the deadly thing about Valhalla's composition. If you ever fight in the jungle, Miklu goes in, he stuns you against the wall, and then all the subsequent CC with that Keeper's Verdict and the Galio. Make sure you die. However, Duncan, he's pulled back in with the ball square, flanked back by Coin. That's a great Keeper's Verdict, but Hecatus still able to get the pick. And Tejn are posturing around this Nasher.
Yeah, and Delta using that teleport to go to that Baron pit means that they're just going to turn straight over to this Baron buff. Can Delta prevent them from getting in? That's the real question. Miklu doesn't have the flash available.
But so he can't go into the pit, and he comes in with a heroic charge to Baron. It's on 600 speed, and it's going to be stolen as Miklu picks it up. And now Tejn are looking to pick up that fight. They get the 2 picks, but they still lose the Baron. And Rixie in the side lane is taking the towers.
Yeah, and because of that, they didn't have the Baron power empowered recall, they can't come back to this bot lane to follow up and defend. They're forced to use the teleport onto Koing to try and shoot him away. And now here comes the collapse coming in from Rixie over the mid lane.
That's a level 16 Fiora. He's looking to jump in. Hector pops down the Grand Challenge. Flash away as the riposte was issued for the slow. Delta also using the Umbral dash into the jungle in Valhalla. They don't really get any kills from it, but the Baron is still secured for them.
Yeah, they get the Baron, and more importantly, that's a Baron buff onto your split pusher. And this is a split push composition, so any Baron is a make or break for this composition. It's because fighting against or with Baron buff is such a game changer. And now Rixie on this 7-1-3 Fiora with 250 farm. A double lifesteal. This is a bloodthirster, ravenous Hydra Fiora with the Baron buff in the side lane. That is absolutely terrifying.
And if you don't have enough evidence for how strong Rixie is, look at the inventories of Tejn. That used to be a triple Bramble, but Knudsen actually upgraded into the Thornmail.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Eleanor pick that up as well soon.
Yeah, they want the heal reduction, and they want it now. As Elbel
flashing away. Elbel looking to follow it up. The spell shield is still there. However, the lockup coming down onto Miklu with that glacial prison. Koing flashing in. He wants to get the fling back, but the hero's entrance will deter him from doing so. Koing still stand under the tower, and Miklu is just brought back into everyone. Is going to get kicked down. However, look at Rixie in the bot lane. He gets the solo kill in onto Delta and is looking for the hit. The split pushers from Valhalla. They are looking for the base. They are looking for the finish in this game 1. And Danke interrupting the recalls. Only Koing is back in the base on that stage. He will need to hold on against the full might of both Smoothie and Rixie, level 17 and 14 respectively. The Hextech ultimatum has been issued, and Koing, he just cannot do a single thing. Smoothie, he's not going to burn down, he's going to stay alive. Here comes Elbel, he's looking for the kills, and he does get the execution, but Rixie is still jumping in onto the Nexus itself. The Nexus is so low, I'm not sure if Elbel can stop him. He's trying his best. Here comes Lutzman, Rixie flashing in, and he takes the Nexus as Valhalla pick up the game 1 against Tejn in the semi-final.
Yeah, and Rixie, what a monster! They sacrificed Smoothie, but that was an extra 5 seconds of baiting that Elbel didn't have to collapse back onto that Fiora, and Fiora just wins the game herself, finishing with a scoreline of 9-1-3, finding the kills everywhere on this map, but also finding the farm and the 1v5 victory in the base.
Rixie finishes the game. The other members of Valhalla and Tejn cannot go back to stop, and that is a game 1 win for Valhalla Warriors. They are coming in strong. Honestly, I expected Tejn to be looking dominant based off the regular season. I think we're getting a very even series.
Yeah, and the story of the game, you just look at the gold values across the board. Everyone's sitting around. The highest value is Hekatos at 12.5k. Besides that, we're looking at 11k and maybe some 10.5k. And then you have Rixie sitting at 16k. What? Where is his money coming from? He has a full bank to withdraw from. You see him at sitting on 3.5 items. He definitely had 4 items at the end of the game there, and I expect to see maybe a Fiora ban, or get that Aatrox out of that lane a lot faster.
I think just ban Fiora. Honestly, if you are Tejn, it's a best of 3. You're not gonna be giving Rixie any other chances. But on that, we will throw it over to the short break. Stay tuned though, because Valhalla Warriors are just 1 game away from getting themselves into the finals, and Tejn, they will need to pull back-to-back wins to get in there. We will catch you right back. Hello and welcome back after the break, everyone. And Valhalla, they are now on a match point, looking to secure the spot in the finals time. They will be needing to stop them, and they need to get now 2 wins in a row.
Yeah, they're sitting back with their backs against the wall, and they're gonna have to give us something really impressive. And of course, it starts with the draft. Being able to take away some of those early ganking pressures. So Miklu isn't able to have as much success. I think that'll be a big one. But then also, of course, that Fiora pick was absolutely terrifying.
It definitely was. This time it is Valhalla Warriors on the blue side, so Tejn, they have to ban it, I think. Otherwise, Valhalla might just go for it as their first pick or not, if they want to play around something else. So far, the Vladimir still being the ban, and yeah, there it is. You're not giving them second chances.
Yeah, no more Fiora. Get that champion out of there. I personally play horribly against Fiora as well, so I understand the sentiments. But then it's also getting Delta maybe a better laning champion. The Aatrox did alright, but once he fell behind, he's only going to fall further behind, right? That's just how the carry matchup works. And Tejn still making sure that they give that earned respect to Miklu as well, banning away the Nunu, and we definitely expect more jungle bans as well.
Yes, Giovanni is going to be actually removed by Valhalla, even though it was Miklu. Oh no, sorry, it wasn't. It was Nutseren. So okay, that actually does make sense. They want to take that away. Poppy is open. They could just first pick it since Miklu had such a good performance, and if need be, you can flex it in towards top lane or just go for the safe AD carry in Sivir.
Yeah, and the Sivir pickup here is actually very interesting. Prioritizing an AD carry is almost never the ideal first pick in my opinion, just because there are so many more picks left open. You can go for the Camille, you can go for the Poppy, or maybe it's not the Poppy and you want something like that Ivern, go immediately back towards the Ivern. And also the Jarvan pick got through the first round. What?
Well, it did, and Tejn go for Caitlyn Karma. Karma could be played mid, it could also be played support. If it is in the support, then you will have a pretty oppressive long-range bot lane. But Yuumi, she was also open, and that's something that Danke played. It is actually the bot lane that Valhalla got to play in their second match of the quarterfinal win against Crown, I believe.
Yes, Crown.
Yes. So, it is something to look at.
Yeah, and this time it looks like Rixie might be getting his hands onto their Aatrox. Of course, Aatrox can still be flipped around to a number of lanes. And we talk about Yuumi. Yuumi pairs up with pretty much every single AD carry under the sun, except for maybe Caitlyn, just because of how the range interaction works. You can even throw it with the Ashe. But with Caitlyn's range, it's a very, very difficult to use. However, playing against Yuumi, something like the Caitlyn Karma is a pretty good lane, just because you don't need to fight against the Yuumi Sivir. You just continue to push the wave. They have to fight the minions, not you.
Alright, as well as the Hecarim being also locked in for Tejn, it probably will be going into the jungle for Nutseren. You've got that early aggression and ganking, especially once you hit that level 6. And Tejn, they are definitely trying to put their timer more towards the early. They actually do get the Camille for themselves, and I'm curious if it will go over to Coin or Delta, because it technically could go both top and mid.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things to talk about for this Hecarim is also that the Hecarim is a good matchup into the Aatrox. We saw it at Worlds what seems to be such a long time ago, but because of you have that move speed, you can get out of the chains, the Inferno chains, and you can continuously to deal damage in close proximity to the Aatrox. And Aatrox, that's one of the things that he struggles a little bit with when you're up in his face. That's when he's unable to get those knockups and dash around and make those extended trades work. And Gangplank locked up here. That's a very interesting pick.
Valhalla definitely going more for the late game prowess. You've got the Yuumi Savior. Yuumi with any champion will mostly go for that late game scaling where they just become pretty much unkillable. The heals are insane, and also all the extra stats you are gaining. Gangplank as well, just the scaling.
Oh?
Alright, is it going to be... Alright, it is an actual Heimer. Alright, I'm just looking...
Quick.
Give me a second. I'm
going...
going...
placeholders.
Yes.
To the placeholders we go.
Go to placeholder. No placeholder. Alright, so it is a Heimerdinger. Alright, this is a placeholder apparently, I think.
Oh.
I don't
Wait,
know.
no, I mean the Skarner's a placeholder for Zir?
Hold on, what?
No. That's a different one. That's yesterday. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Tejn didn't know they had to actually write it yet. Heimer is canon. That makes much more sense.
Oh. I'm disappointed.
I'm low-key as well. But oh well. We are going to be seeing the draft being resumed.
Alright, I am internally just absolutely crushed.
It's okay.
I wanted to see the Heimerdinger
We get a
so much.
Gangplank.
Yes. Well, Gangplank is interesting. It also, again, Valhalla Warriors, they have a full 80 composition going for them again. So for Tejn, they don't have a super tank this game to really force the issue. So we'll see how they are able to play around this full 80 composition in this game number 2. I do like the Kennen pick into that top lane, being able to just full on bully the opposing top laner, and in this game it's going to be the Gangplank. So you'll be able to apply a lot of pressure onto the Gangplank for the time being.
However, Miklu will be playing as Skarner, and whereas you can't really make the pre-level 6 ganks on Skarner that easily, that doesn't stop him from camping top, which is exactly what he did in this game 1 to make sure VC's insanely ahead. And what I'm trying to say is that a similar strategy to what Valhalla employed in game 1 is also a viability for them in the game 2.
Yeah, in game 2, they're looking for a lot of the same stuff. The Hecarim will be going into that jungle. I would have actually liked to see it go mid, but it would have taken a little more fancy movements from the draft phase to make that happen, to line it up against the Aatrox. And Camille does struggle quite a bit in the jungle now, and throwing it mid lane does make a little bit more sense. But both of these compositions are looking to skirmish really early on. Sure, you want to farm up to that level 6 breakpoint with Skarner and Hecarim, but once that point starts going, you're going to see a lot of fights happening around the map.
And last game was very bloody in terms of how many kills there were going, but this time I think we could be expecting even more, because you don't have a pick like Singe that most of the time will try to clear waves and maybe go for a pick with the junglers. The only really safe lane I can think of on the map is that Sivir Yuumi, and maybe Reeks in the top lane might want to hold himself back a bit in the early game before he gets his items. But apart from that, most of those lanes will be looking for that action, and I think mid lane will be very explosive. Both Camille Aatrox are bruisers, let's call them bruisers. And once one of them gets ahead, they will be able to snowball this game cleanly.
Yeah, and it really comes down to how either of these teams look to snowball, because on the side of Tejn, you have a lot of that laning power. You have Kennen, you have Camille, you have Caitlyn Karma, so you're looking to pressure these towers, and they really need early tower plates to, or at least early cash. Whether or not it's in the gold difference, being able to deny the other side farm, or if it's cashing in onto the turret plates, we'll have to see how that ends up working out. And for the side of Valhalla Warriors, you're looking to endure at least the first couple of minutes, because you want, or more so for the gangplank, you want to endure even more because you want that Triforce first. But for Sivir Yumi, it's about getting that Sivir to that first portion of the Essence Reaver, and then being able to start fighting back against the Caitlyn Karma.
That being said though, I feel like the Valhalla Warriors focus should be on Smoothie this game again. Because he is playing the Aatrox, he was playing really well on the Camille in the early game. Of course, it was then Rixie taking over this play with a superb Fiora play, and Miklu spending a lot of time there. But he is pretty much the best chance for Valhalla for an early game pressure point. You have quite a bit of setup in the mid lane, and whereas it could be hard to lock going down, especially with that hookshot being available to him pretty much any time you try to enter his lane. It is not impossible, and with both laners actually picking the ignites in the mid lane, you are definitely going to be having an explosive 1 versus 1.
Now, once the kills start coming through into that mid lane, they're going to be coming in pretty fast. Once the domino falls, it's going to be going all over the place. And that might end up snowballing elsewhere, especially if it goes on to the Camille, just because of how strong Camille is in gap closing. And when you start seeing that Camille Hecarim start roaming around into the side lanes, ooh, that's pretty spooky.
Definitely, and let's not forget what is on the line. Of course, a spot in the finals tomorrow against Serenity Gaming Hydra Tejn. They are currently the defending champions of the Division 2. And they are the ones being held against a match point from Valhalla. One more win for them will do it, and will be guaranteed a new Division 2 champion, I should say. And we're definitely in for one hell of a match. And I feel like this game especially, I will be looking at Coin to try and make his impact, because in the last split, in the Wintersplit, this guy was stomping through the melee in pretty much every single matchup, and last game he definitely wasn't really doing that. He was just playing Sage, he was trying to run around. This time he's playing a Camille, a champion that can be put ahead. Nutseren is on a Hecarim, also a really good ganking jungler, and they've just got the tools to take us to a game 3.
Yeah, they do have the tools to take us to game 3. However, we still have to keep in mind, if they drop this game, that's series over. Series done. The undefeated dream run gets stopped right then and there. And Valhalla Warriors, they would be able to go into that final. So that's what's on the line. You mentioned it earlier. The finals are on the line. But Valhalla Warriors are one foot in the door. They just have to get through that door now, and they're continuing to go back to their bread and butter with these triple bruisers, with the Sivir to speed them on in, and this time it's going to be a Yumi to try and help out.
And they also have got this corner, and I feel like Miklu last game at least, I'm not sure if we paid that much attention or that much credit to his ganks, but they have been on point. Now he's playing as Karner, a champion which requires a bit more precision in the execution, but once you get the gank off, it becomes pretty easy to just make sure to go in for that kill. And so we're gonna have to see which one of those teams, which one of those junglers, which of the laners will step up, as we are slowly but surely loading into the Rift for the second and possibly the final game of the semi-final, and we're straight into a pause.
It's never a cast with me and Kashka without an extended pause, isn't it?
It's never a cast without a pause. I think you stop it there and then you're good.
Yeah. Uh, Woo! I've had quite a few pauses just this week too, and I feel like it's also, Riot. Did that issue with their disconnect get fixed this patch?
I think it kind of did. I'm not really
Apparently,
sure though.
apparently not all the way though.
Yeah, I mean, some disconnects always do happen. Someone will just, their network will be overloaded at the time of loading or whatever. I mean, I'm not a computer person. Don't lynch me if you know anything about computers. So, you know.
Yeah. Just make sure you turn it off and on, right? Hit the power button.
Technically, yeah. Technically, it will work.
But
Yeah.
let's see who disconnected. It was Donkey. All right. Well, I mean,
I
the
mean, he's
Yumi's
playing
already
Yumi.
AFK, right?
Yeah, he's playing a Yumi. So, you know.
If only he was able to jump inside Khan first before, the disconnect. Then at least Khan brings him into lane with him, right?
Yeah, alright. The teams, though, are getting ready. The support has reconnected from what I can assume. And so we will be coming out of the pause any second now. Here it is. The game has been resumed. And this time, finally, we are going properly into the Rift. We'll see if Tejn pull off their usual thing, because they really like to go for the 5-man invades. I don't think I have ever casted a Tejn game where they didn't. This might be the first one, though, looking at how they are spreading out.
Looking to play a little bit on the safer end here, and it does make sense because their composition doesn't really have great CC to lock down one particular target, and they want more so to make sure that no one gets to invade their jungle. No one gets that early vision, and they get to just shove these lanes ASAP, especially with that bot lane. Ooh, Koing.
He's going to get engaged on by Smoothie. Takes a few Darkened Blades into his face and an auto attack, and is probably going to recall to get his health back, not burning a potion, not really doing anything with that.
Yeah, not burning the potion is going to be pretty important here, being able to hold on to the one potion. I'm surprised that's neither, or that Koing didn't opt for the corrupting potion just to be able to trade a little more against the Aatrox. Instead, going for more of an all-in tool with the Doran's Blade. Of course, both of these laners do have Ignite, so it makes sense that the all-in threat is there.
What I am interested about is how will the bot lane dynamic work, because usually with Yumi, you see her just trying to poke out the opposing lane and be obnoxious, but with Karma Kaelin, you will have the advantage when it comes to poking down.
Yeah, the poke advantage definitely going to be on the side of Hekatos and Elbel. And even more importantly, they're going to have the wave advantage non-stop here. Delta using the Lightning Rush, but Lightning Rush doesn't give you any resistances anymore. That's one important thing to keep note of. It isn't as busted as it used to be, and Elbel will take a Yumi charge to the face.
That Prowling projectile is really annoying to be playing against, just because you can literally choose how that skill shot is flying. And it does require some coordination with your AD carry, but in lane mostly it is nearly undodgeable, and so Danke will be able to land a lot of poke.
Yeah, it's basically a point and click from what I understand. Seeing the range on it, as long as you're inside the range, you can click, drag it around, do whatever, make a few flips before landing it onto your target. Koing taking a good amount of damage there, though.
He is still going to be alive and fine. Now, Miklu is posturing himself around this bot lane. The Skull Crab is spawning though, so that's most likely what he's going for. He also will be spotted out on a ward. Now, he might be going for a blue buff as a gang coming through in the melee from Serenity. Onto Smoothie. However, the devastating charge just brings him closer to the tower, and that gang doesn't net anything for Tejn.
Yeah, doesn't get anything for Tejn, but they are going to I think, get that bottom Scuttle Crab here. So, oh, actually, he's going to pass up on the Scuttle Crab, and instead he wants in onto this Karn, who's a little bit deep, I might add.
Yeah, very much deep. Miklu is actually going to go for the execute
Goodbye.
because he realizes that he won't be able to do anything.
Yeah. That was overly excited there. Going in for that invade. You saw them into the mid lane, you're like, oh, I can go for this. And actually, no, you don't get to invade, and unfortunately, it has to give up a lot of jungle time. Doesn't have to
Oh,
give up any
Smoothie, he's
gold.
going to Imagination on the Ignite, going for the first blood. That is so much damage with those precision protocols, and he's just going to pull that one out of the hat.
Yeah, and I actually would have expected Going or Smoothie to actually just flash out so much earlier after getting hit by the hookshot, or maybe even flashing the hookshot. I didn't quite expect that kill to come through like that, but a very nicely executed kill coming out from Coin. And you mentioned it earlier, Coin spent a lot of time dominating last game. He was on the Singe, didn't get to do so, but now he's on a laner that can. And he can repeatedly look for these fights as well.
The thing is, once Coin hits his level 6, the Hextech ultimatum will just keep Smoothie in place. And we saw last game what an Aatrox that has fallen behind in lane does. Not a lot is the answer. We saw that Delta was unable to have a proper impact on the game, and it is now all in the hands of Coin to keep it going as another trade breaking out. You can see the adaptive defense is passive, doing so much in terms of 1v1.
Yeah, it allows Coing to just eat the Inferno chains. Even if he does get locked down by those chains, having that extra shield means that he can continue to brawl things out and absorb some of that damage. And in the spot lane, Elbel's not having a good time. Ooh, Delta.
He's definitely doing well when it comes to trying to bully out Weeksy in terms of HP. At least it looked like for a second this CS. He is actually behind since Weeksy is going to be getting that entire wave crashed into him. And despite Coin getting the first blood in the mid lane, gold is still pretty much even thanks to those CS discrepancies.
Yeah, the CS discrepancy is actually incredibly large up in the top lane, and that's one thing to keep track of when you are playing a champion like Cannon. You want to, of course, farm those stacks with the Klepto. But the issue is sometimes you tunnel in too much on the harassing portion and you forget about the farming portion. And that's one of the difficult things to balance out on champions like Victor, like Kennen, who the point of picking this champion is to harass in lane. But you can't give up wave after wave of farm to do so.
Definitely not, and as we are 7 minutes in, still only that one kill has been going down. Valhalla, they are committing into that Cloud Drake. They should be able to secure it fairly easily. They have that bonus movement speed, will help with the rotations if they decide to go for any.
Yeah, they're going to get that extra little move speed, will help them out here. They are a bunch of bruisers, so very close range champions. So the extra move speed definitely helps, as Coing will get locked down by the chains once again. And in this bot lane, the highlight matchup that I kind of highlighted here, the side of Tejn, they're not getting much done. They're actually behind in the farm department. Of course, with this large wave coming, it will kind of neutralize itself in that regard. But this is a lane that needs to get that 10 to 15 CS advantage.
Oh, look at the middle lane. Flash Hextech ultimatum in from Coin. The Ignite is going to get popped down by Smoothie. As well as the cannon barrage coming through. Smoothie, he picks up the kill, and he has got the revive. He's going to get stuck. Here comes the last chapter. Impale, and Can getting the kill with an auto attack. That's a beautiful turnaround from Valhalla.
Yeah, the ultimate from Rixie just coming in absolutely massive in that fight, because once Smoothie got that got that revive off. Ooh.
Mid lane Khan is going to get ignited. He walks into another trap, flashes away, and here is the ace in the hole from Hecatus, connecting, and a double kill with the Pildor Peacemaker in onto Danke.
And that's a huge double kill for this bottom lane of Tejn. They get themselves that red buff. They also killed the Yuumi. You get the 2-for-1 special, and now they can start working onto that tower. And this buy from Hecatos is going to be pretty damn huge. He's got 1,800 gold in the bank. He's going to be able to cash in on a lot of that, and that might be the signal of this bot lane all of a sudden coming online. However, at the same time, oh, okay, Hecatos wants to push in another wave. Not quite there with the items.
Newton coming in for another gank or just a pass by, trying to push in that wave. Yes, he's trying to get Coin to shove the lane in and probably get a favorable recall.
Yeah, I think there's nothing for Coin to buy though. He's only sitting on 400 gold, so a little bit of an interesting little play there from Knudsen. But I guess he gets to tax some of that EXP, so all's well for the Hecarim. And it's just, you know, Coin didn't have too much to cash in onto, and I guess now's a good time to take a little bit of stock. A lot of these lanes are relatively dead even, and the big difference I would say would be in the jungle for the Skarner having that 12 CS lead, and also in the bot lane because Hecatos does have that double kill.
And also in the middle lane, I think, Smoothie being 30 CS ahead, even on kills, he even has the bonus assist. And in the items, definitely ahead of Coin. The only reason why I would say that lane looks even is because Coin has solo killed Smoothie once, and he could do it again if Smoothie misplays. But that will be something that will need to be a mistake from Valhalla rather than a good play in from Tejn, as Delta getting in frisky onto Rixie. Just drops him down to about half HP, but Gangplank eats an orange and he's okay.
Yeah, but also when you see that orange end up coming out, as there's going to be a little bit of a pursuit onto the pony. Well, once you see that come out, that's the go-ahead to try and dash in with that ultimate. So that's going to be a very real possibility. We'll see Delta pull the trigger at some point, I would say.
Yeah, at some point that's definitely coming in. However, right now the game has taken a bit of a stop to itself. Oh, actually, as I'm saying that the final chapter has been issued by Danke, Hectus had to burn his flash, his health is pretty low, and he will need to watch himself as Alabel also losing his HP very, very fast. Now in the river, though, we are having a fight. The also Shadow has been already utilized, and Smoothie is going to drop to Coin before he can get the reset with World Ender. Flash over the wall by Miklu, and that's time with 1 kill.
Yeah, they get themselves finally one of the key kills, I would say, and now they're able to really assert themselves here. Delta getting the sun onto Rixie. Now he has that ultimate still available to him. Won't be able to get in range to actually pop it though. And signs of life coming out from Tejn. And I mean, we saw it a little bit, but with the gold being where it is, this is again a team that needs to snowball a little bit quickly. And at this point in the game, I expect them to be 1 or 1.5 thousand gold ahead, and being dead even is a little bit unacceptable.
And especially that Rixie, he doesn't even suffer anything at all in this top lane matchup right now. Alabel going in onto Khan. That Sivir is low on mana. We'll have to see if Khan can do anything. Alabel is dropping so low on his health. Hectus is just able to trade back with his auto attacks though. And the trade in the bowling goes about even, as Smoothie is now joining the fray down there.
Yeah, however, if you're talking about, ooh, here comes Smoothie.
Yeah, Smoothie looking for the engage. He's dashing forward. He finds the knock-up in onto Alabel, forces the flash and the heal. So 2 summoners just for a dash forward.
Yeah, 2 summoners used by that bottom side, and oof, the slow that comes out from Yuumi is pretty annoying. Just being able to easily land that follow-up boomerang blade from Khan means that there's actually way more poke than I expected in this bot lane. And the side of Hekatos and Elbel are really
alright,
struggling.
Elbel, he's just going to die now. Khan could be the next target, as the ult has been picked up in the top lane by the side of Tejn. The fight is going to break out. Also, Shadows has been used. However, here comes the lasting maestro from Delta. He's already getting Miklu. That's the second one, however, now for Valhalla. Smoothie has got the wall and the revive, and he is so big. A double kill in. Coin using the hook shot over the wall. Flash forward, flash away from Coin in response. That is now Valhalla getting 2 kills. Hekatos is next in the bot lane as Khan picks up the kill. Not even close, he says, as he's going to get out and clear the wave.
Yeah, and it's just all over the map. Valhalla Warriors, they're just finding the skirmishes, and with these champions, they're just coming out ahead time and time again. We saw that play being initiated by the side of Tejn, and Delta got a good ultimate. It was just the fact that afterwards he was just put in a position where he was in melee range against an Aatrox, and as a Kennen who's going AP, that's never gonna work out for you.
Not at all. And this is Valhalla now, 2,000 gold in the lead, and they are the ones who have the better late game. I'm going to say that. Feel free to disagree, but with the Sivir, Gangplank, Yumi, Aatrox even to some extent, and Skarner just running into the front line, they will be pretty much unstoppable. And with them already being in the lead, Tejn will find themselves in so much trouble, just as Elbel is now. It's just that all the CC locked down, Miklu getting the kill.
That's a dead bell. That is definitely a dead bell there. And that's going to transition into that mountain dragon here. And the side of Valhalla Warriors, they're looking to the gods, and they're looking very good. The gods have answered their prayers. They are looking nigh, I wouldn't say nigh unstoppable, but they're very, very strong.
Yes, I agree. I was trying to think of a synonym here for a second, but yeah, I haven't picked up a thesaurus in years. just leave it on that. And the goalie just keeps going forward. Tejn, they are fighting for their hopes in this playoffs. Losing this game gets them out and puts Valhalla in the finals against Hydra. That would be their second 2-0 of the playoff. And they are looking like a serious contender for the title. And this time, Tejn, they will need to throw in something. So what are they really trying to do to come back, specifically?
It really comes down to finding some sort of play with Knudsen. Oh, I don't think we get a play, though.
Yeah, that's not the play for Tejn. Hekatos forced to flash in now. Coin, he might be looking for that play. However, look at Smoothie. He's so damn strong. He pops down the wall, and here comes Knudsen, though, looking for the engage, and he's just getting smacked in the face and runs the hell out of here as the rest of Valhalla coming in strong. The cavalry has arrived, and that's one of the big problems that Tejn have. The mobility on the Valhalla Warriors team means that you can nearly never go for the play. And now Elbel, he's stuck. The chains is coming through. The suppression as well. Smoothie's on a killing spree, and Tejn just lose 2 members like that. Smoothie still keeps going. Ignite down onto Knudsen, and that's a double for the Aatrox. And now they will be looking for the mid lane tower.
Yeah, the Valhalla Warriors, they're just turning on the jets. They're just running forward. They're powering forward so hard. This bruiser composition just feels so damn oppressive. Once that Sivir pops that ultimate, you have Miklu charging in with the Predator boots, the extra move speed coming in from all kinds of sources. You're not even this Karma can get you out of dodge fast enough. There's just not enough move speed buffs and not enough gap openers to get away from this composition. And now it feels like the side of Tejn, they're climbing a they're climbing Mount Everest. Before it was Mount Fuji, now it's Mount Everest.
The problem is, it doesn't get better for them from here. You still have Rixie in the top lane. This guy has already hit his Triforce at 18 minutes, which is about average. But he's 0-0-3. Tejn went for the early game or more early focused composition because it isn't pure early game drafted from them. But they had to make the plays early on and they just did not. And whereas they haven't run out of time just yet, they are on a timer to make something right now.
Yeah, and the big thing here is Tejn. They continue to lane in standard lanes. You're 18 minutes in, you didn't get any tower plates.
And a 4-man dive coming in.
Yep.
Smoothie already unstoppable. Valhalla looking for the second kill. Elabel burning the flash. And Delta has joined the fray, but what can this cannon do? Can just smites him with the auto attacks. And Elabel is still alive. The last chapter has been utilized. Now Coin tries to join the fray. Valhalla losing their health bars. The one kill is already going to drop down. Smoothie now going in. Coin pops down the Hextech ultimatum. But that Yuumi is keeping everyone alive. Coin knocked up with the Darkin Blade. Smoothie is godlike, and now Knudsen has to run for the hills. That's a near ace at 19 minutes. Valhalla, they are stomping this game too.
Yeah, and not only that, you have Rixie just hanging out on the top side. He's like, oh, don't mind me, I'm just hanging out here. And Knudsen does get the execute, but you know, it's not too much solace there, knowing that you just got smashed in that bot lane dive, and it was a 4v5 too.
The execute, it's not even a silver lining. It's like a zinc lining to the to the Tejn situation. The fact that they weren't able to give over more gold, and it is looking tough. I think right now we just have to focus on how cleanly Valhalla can close this game out, how strong they will be coming into those finals, because they are definitely already looking at that. Double items on Smoothie, Dance Dance is completed. Double items on Khan. Danke has gone already for the Medjais. And even this Yuumi is going to start snowballing as Miklu going for a gank in the top lane. Delta will find himself in a 1 versus 3 situation. He doesn't even get the blast code over the wall, and he's inevitably going to get taken down by Rixie.
Yeah, not even his way out was actually a way out, as Khan just bops him back into his team. No way for him to get out of there. They even give the blue buff over to the Yuumi, since Yuumi is kind of the only one who really uses that as Smoothie.
Smoothie is trying to go in. That's a big shutdown over onto Hectus, as Smoothie was a bit greedy. This is the real silver lining for Tejn. However, the Baron has already been commenced.
Yeah, and that was a 1,000 gold bounty that they cashed in on. It goes on to the Caitlyn, so helps propel her towards the later portions of the game. I would say that's probably the most important Actually, I would say you want it over onto your Hecarim a little more, but the next best thing is Hekatos, as Hekatos is probably the furthest ahead, or I guess the highest gold value member on the team, so you might as well try and push your 1-win condition a little bit further.
Definitely the case, and now the Baron becomes the next big objective. I like Hekatos adapting, going for the Executioner's Calling, trying to just do as much as he can against the healing of Yuumi as well as Smoothie in those fights. He's trying to stem the bleeding of Tejn, and we saw what they can do to help themselves back. They need to find the picks. The problem is Valhalla aren't planning on letting them do that.
Yeah, Valhalla, their composition is just so far ahead at this point, and also the fact that most of the people that are kind of just running around by themselves, it is that Skarner, it is that Aatrox, both of these very tanky members on the team. So even if you do catch them out, it does take a few seconds to burn them down, and in those seconds, that's where Valhalla Warriors, they've been able to collapse relatively well, they've been collapsing pretty quickly with the rest of the team, but here comes the collapse
Seren
mid.
is going to get picked off. That's a good Hospital of Shadows. He's out to safety. However, Koi, he might have bit off a bit more than he can chew. The final chapter is going to try to lock him down. And Smoothie is going in forward. He wants to get the kills. However, can he get around upon no Rixie? He's just getting the kill to Delta. The wall and the revive is now available. That's a double for the Gangplank. Rixie wreaking havoc, making a triple. This guy is unstoppable. Hector's the only person surviving, throws out the ace in the hole, and 4 kills over to Valhalla at 23 minutes. They're just not stopping at all.
Yeah, their health bars are a little bit low, but they still want to try and challenge this Baron buff, knowing that they do have their Skarner coming and making it his way over, but without a Blast Cone, okay, they have enough healing coming in from the Yuumi to keep this Baron aggroed, and now with Miklu, that's going to be a 24-minute Baron. This is, now I can say they're nigh unstoppable.
Yeah, I would go as far as to say unstoppable, but of course there is still some chance for Tejn. It's just,
they're running out of time.
Very, very slim.
They are definitely running out of time. Tejn, they're not, at this point in the game, it's so difficult for them to run out of their base just because of just how much power is on the side of Valhalla Warriors. And I'm interested to see. It does look like right now they are going for, okay, Elbel just, don't know what happened there.
Not exactly sure. All I know is that Karma no flash at this very, very point, and Valhalla, they're just sitting in the jungle. Oh, Hector, he's going to get slowed already, chunked to half, as now Coin going over the wall. He's going to look up Canning that Hextech ultimate. He's just pulled back out of it, though, by Miklu's Impale, and the onslaught of Shadows concludes her and does land the taunt. Can is just going to get the kill, and Smoothie with the wall under in the backline. He smites down Hecatus. That's 2 over to Valhalla. Delta looking to do whatever he can. He doesn't have the slicing Maelstrom. Smoothie also popping down his stopwatch to buy some time. Valhalla Warriors, they are just getting 2 kills, and they don't care about anything in the world right now.
And you know who else doesn't care? Rixie. Once again, we see him hanging out into the
I think he should care right now, because he's about to get 1v3'd, and he does give over the shutdown. Delta, look at his health. The minions, oh, he does survive, but that was too close, and Valhalla are going to use that to break open the base through the mid lane. At 26 minutes, they are looking to punch their tickets into the finals.
Yeah, this Valhalla squad has shown a remarkable improvement across the season, and at this point in time, whoo! Again, they're just looking unstoppable. Now it's the side of Tejn. Can they try and find a pick? They are trying the hardest to at least be a thorn in the side. But every time they walk out, I mean, even look at the vision's great. It's just that if they ever see a Valhalla Warrior member, it's they just get smote.
Tejn, they are going to try and pick up that second Cloud Drake. At the very least, they secure this objective into their team, but it is just so difficult. We will keep repeating that until this game ends, because not only you've got Smoothie, who you genuinely cannot kill in the fights. I feel like whenever you're so close, he makes sure to get the kill with the world ender, or at least an assist, and he gets the reset and just doesn't die in the end. That's at 3 items. Now he's even got a GA on top of everything, so good luck killing Smoothie. Spoiler alert, you're not going to do this. The Yuumi picked up the Art and Sensor, 18 Magi stacks. The heals are insane, and they just buff up Can, the last threat to cut through the entire Tejn composition. That's a 3-item saver.
Yeah, and you know, I mentioned the fact in Champion Select this is a full AD composition for the most part, but you're on an 18 stack Yuumi, you're going to be doing some respectable damage with that poke out here. And not only that, but the fact that the side of Tejn, they don't have a hyper tank, they don't have a mega tank that can just itemize full armor and become unkillable. And
Well, now they're looking in onto Smoothie. Maybe they can try their luck with 5 members, but no! It is getting turned around once again. Knutso and locked up with the last chapter, and now Smoothie running forward at Mach 5 into LML. Picks up the double, the impale in onto Delta. He's brought back underneath his own tower. Pulls out the slicing blade, so he's still surviving, but that's a triple kill for Smoothie. And now he's jumping in onto Hecatus, calling in the backline, looking to jump in onto Khan, but the heals are just too much, and Hecatus, the only time member surviving. He's kiting, but you just cannot kite that Aatrox, and that is a full ace in onto Valhalla.
yeah, in 28 minutes into the game, I think this is a done deal, as they've got a huge minion wave crashing into the bottom lane. And
Valhalla, they are on to the Nexus, a 2-0 in the quarterfinals, a 2-0 against Tejn, the defending champion of Division 2. It doesn't matter, they're going to go into the finals against Hydra.
yeah, and they've got a date with Destiny here, looking very, very strong in both of these series, coming in incredibly hot towards this final matchup up against Hydra. And whoo, what a series. Tejn, of course, we got to give them a shout out because they were undefeated going through the gauntlet. They just fell short at the last step. And wow, what a finals matchup we've got for us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to be so excited for tomorrow because Valhalla, they have shown they can play through pretty much every lane. Rixie popped off game 1, Smoothie popped off game 2, Khan and Danke have been there both games doing the consistent work, and I would assume if Valhalla want to, they can probably even play through the bot side. But why would they need to if they can just get Smoothie and Rixie ahead? And that's going to be one hell of a game to look forward to, and really big props to Valhalla for making such a quick work of time in those semi-finals.
Yeah, and they showed a lot of power, taking down the #1 seed, making quick work of them. And of course, we gotta take a look at some of the flex. Let's look at some of that damage. And whoo, Smoothie. That's a lot of damage.
It is a lot of damage. I'm not sure if we are showing this on stream, but the guy dealt 22,000. The next biggest was
Yuumi.
his support. Yuumi with 60,000. Okay, what is this game? It's honestly insane. And I mean, the time numbers weren't that far behind the Yuumi, but it was still just such a huge win, a big statement from Valhalla. I think they will be very comfortable with going into the finals tomorrow.
Yeah, and just a little bit, I want to preview a little bit of this final matchup. We have Hydra, who, you know, if you watched the stream yesterday, they were up against another team that wanted to build a lot of bruiser type compositions. We saw the Sona 3 games in a row trying to build around the bruisers, but I think so they're going to have a little more experience coming into the finals tomorrow. However, at the same time, one of the big issues we saw yesterday were, even though they have the Sona, they didn't exactly have enough damage elsewhere in the bruisers. It was basically a Sona Aatrox composition, and the Aatrox wasn't able to get off the ground. If we look at a Sona Aatrox composition with Smoothie on the Aatrox, I think it's going to be a little bit different. So while they have experience, it's not the same experience.
Right, and a bit of the live update on the Division 3 semi-final between Arctic and Kelly. Currently it is 1-0 in favor of Arctic. But I think this will be it for us. Guys, join us tomorrow. I'm just going to confirm what exactly is the time we will be live. I believe it will be... Alright, let me just see. We will be live just like now at 19... There is a mistake on the schedule, right? I'm just getting some information in from the production. Alright. Alright, so we will be getting the information out when exactly we're going live tomorrow. So guys, if you aren't already, then join us in the Discord so you will know that information. But for me and Nystar from tonight, that will be it. And we will hopefully see you tomorrow for the finals.